Hi, welcome back. So in the last video, we were talking about how we in the previous video, or in the previous three videos, I guess, we had taken an example in 4/4 time and translated it into, or rewritten it in 2/4 time, and about how going from 4/4 to 2/4, the bar lines in 4/4 they all just come down really easily, and all we do is really divide the bar line in half. But then I kind of said, well, what happens if we divide it into 3/4? And well, I really didn't mean to do that. I wonder if I can disable that. But anyway, what we were talking about then is how these bar lines, I guess, got divided in when we put the piece into 3/4. So actually, I'm going to draw these 3/4 bar lines pretty big so I can show you just where the division happens. And I'm just going to do this kind of throughout this example. So then here we go, 1, 2, 3, like that. And then our next division will go down through this example like this. And now we've got 1, 2, 3, and this one we're actually going to be lucky. All of these bar lines are going to line up like that, and I'll just make a bar line like that. Okay, and actually, you know what? I'm going to circle this one at the beginning too in red, because all of these are going to line up too. And then let's keep going. And we're actually going to run out of space because we've got 16 beats up here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We've got 16 beats in this piece. And 16 divided by 3 is, how many is that? That's 5 1/3. Is what that is. So it's not going to be an even number of measures, but let's keep going. So we've got beat 1, beat 2, and beat 3. And then our bar line comes down like this. And then we've just got beat 1 in this last measure of 3/4. Okay? So anyway, this is, I just wanted to show you, I guess, that when we divide this into 3, it's going to be a bit weird, just because in going from 4/4 to 2/4 time was very easy because these bar lines really just came down, and it was a very easy transition. Really, all we had to do, and I'll circle this in blue, all we really had to do was put in, and pen's going to be weird. All we had to do was put in a bar line, and then change, every time it said 3/4, we had to change it to 1, 2. Okay? So that's all we had to do. We just had to put in a bar line and change a 3 and a 4 to a 1 and a 2. Okay? So now my question to you is it going to be that easy or is there any real easy formula, or is the formula, there is definitely a formula, but, is the formula going to be as easy to take music from 4/4 and put it down in 3/4? Well, no, it's not. It's just going to be not the same type of formula. We're not going to be just changing 3 and 4 into a 1 and 2 or anything like that. It's going to be a bit more difficult. But here is one thing that I do want to just mention before we start working on our example, is that when we do our analysis, even though the beat analysis, down here, so this beat analysis in 3/4 is going to be totally different from this beat analysis up here in 4/4. It's going to be, and as we can see, it's pretty different right now. We've got 1, 2, 3, then, 4 becomes a 1, 1 becomes a 2, 2 becomes a 3, then 3 becomes 1, then 4 becomes 2, and 1 becomes 3. So, it's totally different. It's pretty, there's no real straight ahead formula for, translating this beat analysis down here. But one thing that is going to stay the same is our green arrow analysis. So if we play downbeat 1, hold through 3 and 4, through 2, 3, 4, we're going to have the same analysis down here. We're going to have our same arrow analysis. Okay? So let's just say that this was our arrow analysis for some arbitrary piece of music I'm not even going to write. Say we have downbeat 1, hold 2, 3, 4, downbeat 1, hold 2, 3, 4. And, also I'll ask you, well, what would that look like in 4/4? It's just a whole note, right? So it's just if we were having a whole note being played because we have downbeat on 1, hold through 2, 3, 4. Well, in 3/4, these arrows just come right down. So we just have downbeat and then hold for, we have a downbeat and then we hold it for 3 beats after our downbeat, right? So anyway, hopefully you're finding this. Hopefully I'm not confusing you with this. Once we'll start working on some examples in the next video, and hopefully it'll start making a little bit of sense. I know this might be a little bit different from if you're in a music class right now or in band. Yeah, I really doubt you're seeing anything like this. But I think it's important to kind of be able to ask yourself a question like, well, if I see this piece of music that I have right now, but what would this piece of music look like if I wrote it in 4/4 time? Or what would this piece of music look like if I wrote it in 6/8 time? Or 2/2 time? And I think that's one of the really good things to do that will really help you with sort of getting a grasp on how to read rhythm. And that's kind of one of the things I guess I do kind of want to mention is that if you were in just depending on where you are in math classes in school, doing this type of stuff and reading rhythms, it's not an incredibly difficult mathematical feat, but there are some pretty pretty strenuous different math concepts in it. And, the way music classes are engineered, they really just aren't math classes. They really just are not math classes. So, I think, having a grasp on some of these, like, mathematical, I really don't want to do that. Sorry. Anyway, having a grasp on some of these, different math concepts will really just improve your conception of rhythm. So anyway, hopefully you agree with me on that. And if not, I guess you can if we just go into some more examples, then the examples will really help you get the rhythm down. But the point I want to make is if you follow me on some of this stuff, on some of this mathematical concepts, it'll just make your rhythmic reading that much better. And it'll just make your understanding of how rhythmic notation works that much better. And you might be asking, well, why isn't he covering the every good boy does fine right now, and why aren't we dealing with the grand staff, and why don't I know where middle C is on a piano? And I've said it before in these videos, and I'll say it again. Once you understand how to read rhythm and how to figure out what things sound like rhythmically, figuring out where middle C is on a piano and what note on a grand staff, where you would play middle C on a saxophone or on a flute or a trumpet or anything like that, or how you play E on a trumpet, that stuff is all going to be pretty easy, because you just really have to memorize where that note falls on a grand staff, and it's not going to take as long for you to get that as the rhythmic stuff. So really 80% to 90% of reading music is all going to be about getting a very, very firm grasp on how the system of rhythmic notation works. And beyond that, I could just tell you where middle C is on a piano, or we, could put a piece of tape where it is on a piano, and you would, and then you would just know it for the rest of your life. But, reading rhythms is going to take just a little bit more time. So anyway, hopefully you're enjoying working through the playlist, and I guess I'll see you in a future video.